All right, I say let's go ahead and get started. Again, thanks everybody for joining today. My name is Brett Larson. In case you haven't met me before, I'm Integrate IQ's Director of Integration and CRM Strategy. Joined here today by Tim Ritchie, the CEO of Integrate IQ, and Alessandra Kopp, hey Marcus, our channel account manager. She's been with HubSpot for 5 years now, works with us arm in arm, helping our clients bolster their HubSpot portals, take advantage of all new features, which is what we'll be going over today. The spring 2026 features we'll be going over is really, like so many things in today's world, showing an emphasis on how AI can assist with our day-to-day jobs. But what's so nice about these features that HubSpot is rolling out is they are not only like adding to the day-to-day, they're actually equipping marketing, sales, service teams with taking as much of the busy work, the mundane work off your plates as possible. So by utilizing the data, the marketing materials, sales materials, the activities that your sales team, marketing team, service team are entering into HubSpot, and all of that super valuable information, and adding enrichment to that information so that HubSpot can actually help you with data analysis, with automated record progression, with lead and client responses. So the onus, of course, is still on you and your teams and us to get that key information into HubSpot. But through these HubSpot tools, we're going to be able to get the most out of it, which in turn allows us to spend more time collecting that vital data. I see a lot of familiar faces on today's call. Thank you one more time for joining. Also see some real direct opportunities for our clients to help bolster and improve their current HubSpot portal, especially with these features that we'll be covering today. So I'm sure there's going to be some questions about how you can incorporate these spring 2026 features into your own HubSpot lives. We've broken this down into 7 distinct categories, focusing on the feature releases. Also have some demo videos really giving you overview of how they work. We'll pause at the end of each one of these feature reviews for questions. We also should have some time at the end of today's call, just in case a question or thought doesn't come to you in the moment. And as I stated kind of beginning of the call, we'll be sending out sort of a recap with the demos, just in case there's any information you want to take a second look at or share with the team. And of course, if you are interested in incorporating any of this into your HubSpot life, feel free, please, to reach out to us, and we can work with you, Alessandra, and HubSpot on how you can fold these into your day-to-day activities within HubSpot. So without further ado, Alessandra, I will hand it off to you to go over these exciting new updates.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. So, hey everyone, I'm Alessandra. So I'm the Partner Development Manager, or PDM, for Integrate IQ. So I'm really excited to be partnering with them today to walk you through some really great new product features that we have. So these are going to be reviewing some of the major Spring Spotlight features that we've released. So as HubSpot customers, you know that HubSpot is the heartbeat of your front office data. But for a long time, the burden has been on the users to figure out what to do with that data. So you've had to build the reports, write the emails, and manually connect the dots between a marketing click and a sales call. But what makes this 2026 Spring Spotlight so powerful, and what Brett also mentioned, is this fundamental shift in the platform. So these new features that we're going to review, they're not just giving you more places to store your data. They are giving you new tools that consume the context of your CRM to help you execute better and faster. So these 7 new features that we'll talk about, they are literally going to read your existing customer relationships, your past deal outcomes, and your content library to act as an extension of your team. So like I said, we're going to go through 7 really important distinct features that move HubSpot from a system of record to a system of execution that's predicated on your CRM context. So let's dive in without further ado. The first feature we're going to talk about is Breeze Assistant for Loop Marketing. And this one is in public beta right now, and it's available with all products and plans. So as veteran HubSpot users, I know you've seen assistants before, but what makes this one different is that it's built specifically to power your loop marketing strategy. So before we look at the tool, I just want to take a quick step back to define that term so we're all on the same page. So loop marketing is the evolution of the traditional inbound marketing funnel. In that traditional funnel, you pour leads in the top and they drop out the bottom. And usually you're doing that by creating great content, putting that on your website, and those leads are clicking through. But in a loop, every action you take feeds the next one. So example, a customer case study, it shouldn't just be a PDF. It should literally loop back into your social media, your sales enablement, and your email nurturing. So the Breeze Assistant is the engine that drives this. It's like a little widget that lives inside your HubSpot portal, and it acts as a specialized consultant. And because it has access to your CRM context, it's not just going to give you like generic marketing advice. It's going to look at your actual business data, brand settings, and even HubSpot Academy best practices to tell you exactly how to turn a single idea into a full circle campaign. It knows your brand voice, your fonts, and your colors. So the execution should really feel instant and very seamless and consistent. So what we're going to do next is look at a demo video with everybody's favorite guy, Kyle Jepsen. So let me pull that up real quick so we can take a look at this in practice. 1 second. Okay, and then I got to reshare, I believe. Okay, Breeze Assistant. Okay, can you see my screen, everyone, with Kyle in the middle here?
Are more relevant.
You see it? Okay, cool. Let me know if you can't hear it or if it pauses. Let me make this bigger. Okay.
More actionable. Everything Breeze Assistant helps you create automatically matches your brand settings. Here's how it works.
If you've ever been told you're too much, too needy, or too intense, this class is for you. Whether you're married...
I'm so sorry about that.
Go to Settings, and then Brand Kit. You can set up your brand voice, tone, colors, fonts, and logos. When you're done, save your brand kit. Now, when you ask Breeze Assistant to create content, campaign briefs, email copy, social posts, blog drafts, it uses your brand kit automatically. For example, if you ask it to write an email announcement, then the tone matches your brand voice settings, the messaging aligns with your positioning, and the formatting uses your brand colors. No manual customization needed. Everything is on brand by default. To test this, open Breeze Assistant from anywhere in HubSpot. Ask it to generate content. Write a promotional email for our new product launch. Notice how the output reflects your brand tone and style. Professional on-brand content without the extra work. We've improved where Breeze Assistant gets...
Cool. So also sorry about that. We had to play a YouTube video since we didn't have one of our like HubSpot recorded videos. So sorry about the ad. But I know that video was a little high level. So let me reshare my screen and we can go over a more detailed example. So 1 second. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so that video is a little high level, but we can think through like a real world like marketing example to give you a little more context. So as a marketer, like let's say you've just finished a great blog post. A way that you can use the new Breeze Assistant is you can ask the Breeze to quote unquote loop this for me. What that means is that the Breeze Assistant is going to immediately draft a LinkedIn post, It can even suggest the target list of existing leads who should receive it via email, and even propose a follow-up task for your sales team. So essentially, it can turn one piece of content into a multi-channel loop within minutes. And I think the ROI of that is really significant. It's really giving you a lot of strategic velocity. So you're not just moving faster, you're moving smarter, because the assistant is going to help ensure that every piece of work you do feeds back into your growth loop. So it's going to help take the guesswork out of your strategy, which is always helpful. Awesome. We'll take a pause there in case there are any questions and until we move on to our next feature.
Just thinking about this from like an integration perspective, since that's how so many of you came to be on this call through the Integrate IQ services. We're bringing in lead data, and you're already creating these initial marketing materials. You have your brand and brand identity loaded into HubSpot. Bolstering the information and marketing materials that you're sending to those leads can be accomplished through Breeze, and then even more so capturing new leads. So using the loop marketing to expand on the initial materials and help you create more. Of course, you'll still want to do a little bit of your own review with anything that AI is assisting with you, just to make sure that it does have that personal and business voice touch that is required for these types of materials. But any questions about how the Breeze Assistant can help with loop marketing materials? Okay.
Cool. So moving on to the second feature, and this one is really, really important, AEO, or Answer Engine Optimization. So for all the HubSpot users on the call, I know you're probably following like HubSpot on LinkedIn and Yamini, and you've seen her talk a lot about the importance of leveraging AEO and keeping up with this shift. So a little context first. So as HubSpot users, you've spent years perfecting your SEO, and you did that because that's what HubSpot preached. That's what we told you to do. We essentially said, if you apply the best practices of the inbound marketing playbook and you have good quality SEO, then you're pretty much going to be guaranteed high quality leads. But now search has fundamentally changed. And in the current landscape, as you've probably heard this stat on LinkedIn a bunch, but nearly 60% of Google searches now are zero click, meaning users are getting their answers without ever leaving the search results page, which is a major shift in how buyers used to find what they needed. So now buyers are now asking AI-powered answer engines like ChatGPT and Gemini to do the research for them. So like, for example, if you're an ERP company, let's say like someone is asking an AI, what's the best ERP for a manufacturing company? You as an ERP company need to know how you're being represented in that answer. So embracing AEO strategy in this current landscape is really a non-negotiable for companies who want to adapt to this shift and keep capturing high quality leads in the future. So super important tool. And the way that the AEO tool works with this new feature release is it's a brand new category within HubSpot. It is both a tool set within Marketing Pro Plus subscriptions, and it's also its own standalone hub. So you can also purchase this for $50 a month, even if you don't have Marketing Pro. So I think that in and of itself signals how important this tool is. Like, HubSpot really wants every customer, regardless of their ability to purchase Marketing Pro, to be leaning into AEO best practices and adapting to this shift. So the way that AEO works, whether you're using it as a Marketing Pro Plus tool set or the standalone hub, is that it provides you with a brand visibility score that measures how often and how accurately your company is cited by these AI models like ChatGPT and Gemini. It works by actually scanning the landscape to see what these answer engines are saying about your company. It then looks at your CRM and your website content to find knowledge gaps, and it recommends actions you can take to improve your company's visibility. So for example, if the engines are giving wrong information about your prices or your services, the HubSpot AEO toolset is going to identify exactly which page on your website needs to be updated in order to feed the AI the right context about your company. So this new tool set within HubSpot is really going to help companies control the narrative in a world where a bot is doing the research for the buyer. Yeah, and it's also like super great that it is all living within your portal, so you can see your brand visibility score and recommended actions and take those actions without leaving your HubSpot, which I think is a big differentiator for our AO tools. And then let's take a look at the demo video as well. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second to get the right screen here. Perfect. Okay, let me know if you can't hear anything.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
I'm Danny from HubSpot's product team, and I'm here to talk to you about our new AEO product. We all know that there's a massive behavior shift happening. People are moving from traditional search, which leads to website traffic, to conversations with answer engines like ChatGPT and Gemini. This shift may lead to a loss of direct website traffic, but it doesn't need to also lead to a loss of leads. Prospects that come from AI sources are at least 3 times more likely to convert to a customer. However, these conversations are currently happening in a black box. And that's why we built HubSpot's AEO tool to give your brand the ability to understand when, where, and how your brand is showing up in answer engines. We'll make recommendations for what to do to improve your AEO, and we'll have the tools to take action upon them. Let's dive in. So first, we want to collect information about your brand to make sure that we tailor your experience. If you are not an existing customer, we'll perform AI deep research on your company and industry on your behalf. If you are an existing HubSpot customer, we will also leverage information from your CRM and other records to inform data points like your competitors, your products, your ideal customer profiles, all in order to help set up your account. If we miss a competitor or suggest competitors that you don't want to track, you have the ability to remove them or add more competitors on the screen. On this page, we ask you to select a product and an audience to start with. We will suggest prompts based off of the buying journey of this audience shopping for this product. And we do that because in this world of ultra personalized conversations, it's important to clarify the specific buying journey of the audience shopping for a particular product that you want to analyze. You'll have the ability to add, remove, edit, or adjust your what you're tracking once you dive into the tool. So here, our system will suggest prompts to track based off of all the information that we've collected. These are representative questions that mimic your customer's buying journey. Once again, you can expand on these, add more or remove once you dive into our tool. And you can add more here before you dive in. I'm going to switch to a portal that already has data in its account. After onboarding, we will land you in the tool. This particular account has been running for about 5 weeks. And the first page that we land you on is the dashboard. And this first chart is brand visibility. This is the percentage of prompts that you track where your brand is mentioned in the response. This is what we suggest is the North Star metric of AEO. You want to understand how often AI is recommending your brand for the prompts that are important to you. Below this, we allow you to benchmark against competitors to understand how your performance stacks up against the competition. And we have some high-level citation analysis here at the bottom. We also have a dedicated page to citation analysis. These are the websites that influence the answer engines. It's really important to understand the composition of these websites in order to develop your own AEO strategy and what content and assets you need to create to optimize AEO and improve your brand visibility. We have citations by content type and by channel. Notice here that the owned percentage, this is your brand's owned website, is a very low percentage of citations, meaning most of the websites that are influencing your answers that you want to be mentioned in are not websites that you own. So this entire AEO is a multi-channel strategy. We allow you here to manage your prompts where you can add more, either manually or to generate with AI using our algorithm. You can also group prompts together. To help organize your reporting or to help develop your strategy in a more segmented manner. Finally, we have recommendations where we analyze your low visibility prompts, analyze the citations, and come up with a list of recommendations for you to improve your AEO. Here we have the suggested content with some information to help you get started. And we have the justification for what drove this recommendation, so you can see why this recommendation was surfaced. And that's our AEO tool. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, as you can see, it's amazing that they have like both your current visibility and all the recommendations about actions you can take existing within one portal. Yeah, and let me reshare this so we get the right screen back up. And when I think about the ROI for that feature, I really think of it as like market share and helping you like reclaim that digital shelf space for your company. Because if you're following these best practices and following the best practices of AEO, you're really going to ensure that when a buyer asks for an AI recommendation, that it's your name versus the competition that's popping up at the top of that list, which is super important. Awesome. Cool. Any other thoughts, Brett?
Yeah, it's sort of back to what we mentioned in the beginning. The importance here is still the initial information that you're helping provide, as the tools are going to be combing that to hand you recommendations, which you would then still need to review and give your personal touch. So this is an awesome tool because of the importance of that zero-click search with AEO. But just know that it is something that is kind of like an ongoing activity, something that you'll want to monitor, have dashboards and specific reports set up for, so that you can make sure that your prompts are behaving accurately. And then it's super awesome that the HubSpot tool, based off the algorithm, is going to give you recommendations. But of course, those recommendations are things that it's still prompting you to consider to implement. So just like the first tool, the initial information still is going to be at the behest of your team, and then the ongoing maintenance. Any questions from the gallery here? All righty.
Cool. All right, so the next tool we're going to talk about is Prospecting Agent. I know everybody likes this one. So this one is available with Sales Hub Pro Plus subscriptions, and it's in a public beta. So I know we all know the prospecting tab within Sales Hub, and this is where your reps go to organize their day. It's a great tab, but still the grunt work of sales hasn't really changed. So your reps are still spending hours hunting for phone numbers, checking LinkedIn for job changes, and trying to figure out why a company is actually a good fit to call today. So I know we're all really excited about the new changes for Prospecting Agent because it's really going to change the game by taking over that entire investigative life cycle for your sales rep. So they can move away from doing that manually and relying almost entirely on the Prospecting Agent to do that research for them. So the way that it works, the new and improved Prospecting Agent, it's not just a bot that scrapes a list of leads and sends generic spam. It works through a sophisticated 3-step process powered by your CRM context. So the first thing that it's going to do is scan for signals. The Prospecting Agent is going to monitor your list of target accounts for 16 different buying signals. The agent's looking for those why now moments, things like recent funding rounds, new technology adoptions, like a new CRM that was implemented or an ERP, or even job postings that suggest a company is expanding. So the agent's going to do that investigative work and look for those signals for your reps. The second thing it's going to do is identify a buying committee. So once it finds those good signals, it's not just going to give you one name of somebody to reach out to. This is new. It's going to identify a buying group. So using your CRM data and also third-party data like Apollo or ZoomInfo, it's going to find the decision makers and the influencers. So everyone from the VP of sales to a RevOps manager for your rep. So not just one contact. It's gonna give them the entire buying committee. And then the third thing that it's going to do, it's going to draft outreach for your sales reps with context. It's going to look at your CRM history firstly to find out things like, hey, has anyone at your company ever talked to this prospect before? What was the outcome of that call? And then based on that context and also those signals that it's scanning for, it's going to draft a research-based email that it could say something like, hey, I just saw you open a new office in Austin and you're hiring for this role. Since we worked with your former colleague last year, I thought it'd be a good time for us to connect. So the new Prospecting Agent, it's really doing the work of a top tier BDR, but it's doing it for your entire target list and it's doing it all at once. So it's really supercharging your sales team. And let's take a look at what this looks like in practice with a demo video. Let me reshare this. Okay. Okay.
Agent has arrived. What started as an AI-powered outreach tool has now evolved to a full funnel end-to-end prospecting and pipe gen solution, thanks to 3 big changes. First, the Prospecting Agent now supports company monitoring continuously of the latest and greatest signals. So the agent can continuously watch my target accounts for buying signals, so my reps always know which accounts to prioritize right now. Second, the agent now supports contact sourcing. So the agent can pull contacts from my CRM or source and suggest net new contacts that I've never engaged with before from a connected third-party provider, without leaving HubSpot. And third, the agent now supports personalized multi-channel outreach at scale. That's right, not just emails anymore, but calls, LinkedIn tasks. The agent can help you draft your AI outreach strategy, personalizing this outreach to the signal, the research, and the individual prospect. And your reps can review this as a human in the loop, or you can let the agent do its thing autonomously while your reps just show up to the meetings that it books. Now let me show you what this looks like for a rep. Now, this is what your reps are going to see every day that they log into the prospecting agent. What you're looking at is a list of companies the agent is recommending to me right now. Each one here is listed because the agent detected a real buying signal. The company that just raised a funding round, a company that just launched a new product, a company researching solutions in my space, a company that researched my pricing page twice last week. Next to each company, the agent gives a why now rationale, referencing the specific signal, the source, so your rep can immediately understand why this company is worth reaching out to today. Now let's click into one of these and see what the agent has prepared for us. Now, as you can see, the agent hasn't just flagged this company and said it's interesting. It's done all the work for me. The agent has recommended specific contacts for me to reach out to, some from already in my CRM, some from my third-party connected provider, and each one of these contacts is going to have a why this contact explanation, clearly lining out for me why I should be reaching out to this contact. Alongside that, the agent drafts emails or multi-channel outreach for each of these contacts. And because it's built natively into HubSpot, it's not just using web research to personalize. It's drawing on the context your team has already built up in your CRM with the prospect. Past interactions, engagement history, what you already know about these people. That's what's going to make the difference between HubSpot's prospecting agent and a standalone AI tool. Living, breathing CRM context that the agent is built directly on top of. And if my rep wants to edit these emails and change, they can directly access that research and use that information to personalize the outreach to this prospect. The agent did the heavy lifting, but my rep gets to stay in control and can send outreach with a single click. Now, how did the agent know how to do this? Well, that's the rep experience. Fast, contextual, built for daily use. But everything the agent does is powered by something we call a play. Let me show you how those work. Now, a play is basically a blueprint for how to prospect into a set of companies or audience. You define the rules and the agent runs it continuously. The better you set up your play, the better your agent is going to perform. Now let's take a look at one of the individual plays I've built for my in-market target accounts. So you can see exactly what this play is looking for and what it's going to do as it recommends companies. I have it monitoring a specific segment of my top tier 1 accounts, and I have it monitoring for a specific set of signals that indicate that this company is ready to buy and in market for the solutions that I sell. Signals that indicate they're expanding, like product launches, physical expansions, new funding, or signals that indicate a direct interest in my company, things like visitor intent, pricing pages. Now, when the agent detects those signals, it'll know exactly which decision makers I want to reach out to because I can define the job titles and leaders that I want it to look for. Here, I have the agent looking for founders and CEOs, so the agent knows exactly which contacts to suggest to my reps. For AI writing, the agent is actually able to scrape my own website, but I can also edit this manually to give it the latest and greatest information on my value props, pain points, products, and services. The richer it is, the better the agent is going to write. But the agent also is intelligent. It doesn't want me to just do blind volume. It wants me to do the right thing. So we've provided a bevy of guardrails that'll help you have control over the agent, how it operates, how much it spends, so the agent can operate within the boundaries that you set. Similarly, the agent can support both a fully autonomous motion, but also having a human in the loop approving outreach. We recommend starting with human in the loop until you're comfortable, then opening it up with automation as you gain trust in the system. Last piece is outreach. 2 options depending on the motion. Adaptive mode is our hands-off option. The agent writes emails and follow-ups intelligently based on the latest signals and engagement. You set how many emails, time between sends, and any advanced instructions that you want the agent to know. And the agent executes. Great for lower value accounts, long tail segments, and dormant leads. We also have our brand new sequence mode. Sequence mode is our hands-on, precise control over every step. You can customize each email to your heart's content using smart blocks for deep AI. I can also add call tasks and LinkedIn tasks for my perfect multi-touch outreach strategy. And beyond plays, the agent is really, really flexible. In addition to monitoring a set of accounts, you can also enroll directly via workflow, manually, from CRM, wherever your reps work, the prospecting agent is there to support it. So let's zoom out. Today, your reps are switching between tools, manually researching accounts, guessing who to contact, and writing emails from scratch. Hours of work before a single conversation happens. With the prospecting agent, the system does that work continuously. It can monitor your markets for signals, identify the right companies at the right time, suggest the right contacts, and draft personalized multi-channel outreach for these prospects, helping you generate pipeline faster and more effectively with your team than ever before.
Yeah, I think those new changes are so cool. And I think about when I was a sales rep at a previous company, we didn't have any tools like Apollo or Zoom Info, and I would spend my Monday morning searching for healthcare practices to reach out to by searching on Google, and it took so much time. So when I see something like this, like, wow, I could have come in on a Monday morning and had like 20 like high fit prospects that were already vetted for me by an agent. Like, how much time could I have had back actually selling? So I'm very jealous of sales reps who get to use this. I kind of wish I was a sales rep again, but awesome. Any thoughts, Brett? I'll reshare my screen for the next slide, but yeah.
Yeah, Andrew had a question. Obviously from the demo, the focus here is on, company business insights and buyer intent, but can this tool also work for companies doing B2C sales? Like, can there be any like individual intent signals that the agent can help with? Yeah,
so I can look into that. I'm only familiar with this working for B2B use cases. So I do have a couple people I can reach out to for more insight on that, but that's a good question. I'll follow up on that.
Okay. Yeah, Andrew, we can get back to you on that. And then just in terms of some use case people on the call, work with a lot of companies that do staffing. So this absolutely seems like you mentioned specifically a new branch opening in Austin. They may need some staffing support. So definitely something that would help out with identifying that information, drafting those email responses or sequenced automated responses, which I'm always such a huge fan of sequences. So it's really cool to see something that is interacting with it live, and it's not just like a static text email where you're just pulling individual tokens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's super tailored and like really helps you get to the prospect first before your competitor. Yeah, it's a great tool. I think it would be a great fit for those staffing companies too. And just to also the performance stats on this tool, I want to make sure that I mention those too, because we're seeing some really great results of people or customers who are using the prospecting agent. So to give you one example, customers using this tool, they are seeing an 8% response rate on average. And to put that into context, the industry benchmark for a human sent cold outreach is usually around 4%. I know this doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually pretty significant. And then another way to think about the value here is also just like sales capacity, because you're pretty much able to like double a seller's hours in the day by using a tool like this, since you're removing that significant amount of time that they have to spend on research and non-selling tasks. So you're making them faster. So it's a super cool tool on both fronts from that regard. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's move on to the next tool, which is the Smart Deal Progression. So this one honestly makes me wish that I was a sales manager again. I know I just said that about being a sales rep, but I wish I had a tool like this when I was managing sales reps. So Smart Deal Progression, this comes with a Sales Hub and also Service Hub now. It's available at the Professional Plus level, and it's in public beta. So a little context. So I know like we all know that like huge complaint from sales managers is that the CRM is never up to date. And then conversely, you're always hearing from sales reps that it's such a chore to update the CRM. So keeping things up to date is just like super difficult, it seems like. But I'm really excited for Smart Deal Progression because it solves for both of those challenges by using AI to bridge the gap between sales conversations and your data. So how does this work? Smart Deal Progression, it doesn't just summarize a call. It actively audits your conversations against your CRM properties. It, quote unquote, listens to your recorded calls, and it reads your meeting transcripts with data accuracy in mind, of course. And it works with HubSpot native calling, but also if you're using like a third-party calling tool like Zoom, it works with that too, so long as the transcript is transcribed and synced back into HubSpot. So the way that Smart Deal Progression works in practice, so firstly, this new tool is going to provide contextual suggestions. So if a prospect says something on a call like, oh, actually, our budget is $50,000, not $40,000. The AI within Smart Deal Progression doesn't just record that text. It's going to highlight the specific sentence, and then it's going to trigger a suggestion box within the CRM that says, should I update the deal amount to $50,000 instead of $40,000? And then it's also going to provide verified citations to ensure that you stay in control. Every suggestion that it provides is going to come with a citation. So you can actually click a link and it will take you to the exact second in the recording or the exact line in the transcript where that information was mentioned. So you can rest assured that it's not just like guessing, like, oh, here's what you should do next. It's proving its work for you because it's providing those citations that's based on the conversation that actually happened. And then what's brand new about this feature and super cool is that you can leverage it beyond sales use cases. So this is now available, Smart Deal Progression. You can use it with Service Hub professional or higher. So let's say like a CSM is talking to a customer, and on that call, a customer mentions a new project. During that call, the Smart Deal Progression is going to suggest that this CSM or support rep should create a task or a new ticket right then and there. So it's really cool that you can use it even beyond sales. I feel like the use cases are endless for Service Hub as well. Cool. So let's take a look at what this looks like in practice. A second to reshare. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I think here we go. Okay, perfect. Took a second to buffer.
And Smart Deal Progression. HubSpot features that enable.
We'll make that way slower. That's way.
My name is Bridget, and I'm excited to tell you more about Note Taker and Smart Deal Progression. HubSpot features that enable teams to close more deals faster by making deal progress the default outcome of customer interactions. A significant amount of deal progress happens inside customer conversations. Discovery calls, demos, renewal check-ins. This is where next steps get agreed to, timelines shift, and clear buying signals emerge. But once the conversation ends, the rep has to manually translate into next steps and CRM updates. That work is time-consuming and easy to delay or avoid altogether. Deals don't slip because teams lack data. They slip because the system does not help reps act on high-signal moments in a way that reflects how the company actually sells and keeps buyers aligned. The result is stalled deals, inconsistent execution, and CRM data that drifts away from reality, which degrades pipeline trust for managers and leaders. Our goal is clear. Enable revenue teams to close more deals faster by making deal progress the default outcome of customer interactions. Reps should not have to manually interpret what happened and update everything themselves. Every meaningful customer interaction should result in clear, structured deal progress while keeping the rep in the loop to reinforce trust in the CRM. The result? More deals won, faster deal cycles, and higher CRM trust. Before I begin, let's make sure I have my note taker enabled and I have everything set up in HubSpot to bring in my transcripts. In this use case, I am setting up the meeting note taker bot to bring in recordings and transcripts. Smart Deal Progression also works on top of other transcript ingestion methods, including our third-party transcript ingestion through Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, and other platforms that bring in recordings and transcripts. And in this instance, I'm going to go in and set up the meeting note taker. And I'll do this by going into Settings, Meetings, and seeing the Meeting Note Taker tab. Now that I can see that the Meeting Note Taker is turned on, let me show you how Smart Deal Progression works. In this example, I'm an AE who just finished a final alignment meeting confirming final budget updates and next steps. When the meeting ends, instead of manually interpreting the conversation and updating the CRM from memory, HubSpot prepares everything for my review. In the conversation recap, alongside the recording, transcript, and summary, I now see the extracted next steps. Each action item is tied back to transcript evidence, so I can quickly validate the context. I can edit if needed, and convert into individual or group tasks with one click. HubSpot also drafts a follow-up email, grounded in the conversation and structured around the agreed upon next steps. I can easily refine the tone with Breeze, and send. Now for the suggested deal updates. Stage, amount, next step, and description are all proposed based off what was actually discussed and aligned to my configured pipeline process. I can easily review, check the evidence, edit if needed, and approve. Instead of reps manually translating meetings into CRM updates, the conversation becomes a source of truth. HubSpot proposes structured deal progression while the rep stays in the loop to build trust. Deal momentum doesn't drop between conversations. That's Smart Deal Progression.
I love her point about deal momentum, and I also love that this all happens within the flow of work within the CRM. So I think a huge benefit of this is going to be deal velocity and progressing those deals. And it's really just making it so easy for your reps to execute on that. Like when I think about when I was a sales rep on a Friday afternoon, I'd have like 15 different deals and conversations that I was trying to remember, like what were my next steps for this. And if I had a tool like this, it would make it so easy to just kind of progress that using the AI suggestions to kind of review it. And then like, okay, yes, this is what I'm going to do as my next step. And what we're seeing on average is that this type of tool, or this tool in particular, is saving reps like 2 to 3 hours a week on just manual tasks. So it's a super impactful feature. And then another benefit I want to mention too for sales managers is really just the forecast accuracy, because when your reps are using Smart Deal Progression, you can really trust that data, because when a deal is moving from stages, you know it's because a specific milestone in the conversation was met. So you can really trust that. And then you also just have like cleaner data. So what we've been seeing so far, like when customers are using Smart Deal Progression, there's a big reduction in stale deals, because the AI within the tool is prompting reps to move a deal stage or close it out based on the actual conversation and the actual sentiment of the customer. So very excited for this new tool. I think it's great.
Yeah, this would have been huge when I was in sales. Create myself dozens of tasks and then hope that I put enough context in the task so that I didn't have to go back and manually scrub the call recording to try to figure out what does this vague 3-sentence thing actually mean, or 3-word more likely. So the fact that it's not only giving summaries, but then specific call outs to actionable pieces and then directly linking it to the call and transcript is just so cool.
Yeah. And I think like prospects, they expect that kind of personalized outreach, like in the sales process. So by like summarizing your call, like having it like help draft that email, they're going to be like, wow, like this person was actually listening to me, because that's like one of the biggest reasons I feel like why like HubSpot like wins deals. Like, oh, I felt like the rep actually listened to me versus maybe like a Salesforce or another competitor. So I feel like this is going to make you seem like the best listener ever if you're using something like this. Yeah, cool. Any questions that came in through the chat that I may have missed?
No, just Marcus saying that this is amazing.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like if I had this tool in Prospecting Agent, I would have been the best sales rep ever. But that's for another life. Cool. So we're going to move on to Customer Agent next. So for those of you using Service Hub, you know that the modern customer really expects answers within minutes, not hours. They have super high expectations. And as you grow, like it's really hard to keep up with that volume without your quality dipping. So Customer Agent is a secret weapon you can use. And as you know, it's not just a chatbot. It really is a 24/7 extension of your service team. And what makes it really cool with the new update is that it's better than it was before, because it's continuously fed the context of your CRM, and also you can feed it your specific business rules. So it is better than ever. So the new Customer Agent, is built on 3 core pillars of control. The first pillar is that the agent learns from your truth. So that means that it's directly trained on your company's knowledge bases, product catalogs, and even image attachments shared by customers. So if you've written an article about it, the agent's trained on it, the agent knows it. The second pillar of control is that the Customer Agent abides by your guidelines and your guardrails. You have total control over the vibe of your agent, for lack of a better word. You can set specific guidelines, like you could tell it never talk to a customer about pricing, or always use an empathetic tone if a customer is frustrated. And it's the first AI agent that actually respects your brand's unique voice, which is really cool. And then the third pillar of control is this new percentage rollout feature that we've introduced. So percentage rollout means that you don't have to like flip a switch and have the agent handle all the conversations and just like hope for the best. You can actually tell the agent to handle maybe only 25% of incoming emails to start. And then once it starts going and you start succeeding, you can decide to dial it up to 50% or 100% if things are going really well. And if the agent gets stuck, like it can't answer a question, it's not just going to fail and leave your customer hanging. It's trained to hand the conversation off to one of your reps, human rep, and it's going to give them a full summary of the conversation and even a suggested reply already drafted up for them that they can edit and send. So it's super cool. Let's take a look at this demo video. 1 second. Okay. Cool. All right.
Hi there, my name is Miranda and I'm excited to talk to you about Breeze Customer Agent. Now, as we know, every customer interaction is a chance to win or lose business. Say a prospect lands on your site with a question about pricing. If they don't get an answer fast, they're going to move on. If a customer has a problem after the sale, really how quickly you respond determines whether they stay and whether they're satisfied. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, your team is stretched thin, trying to keep up with all of it, spending most of their time on repetitive questions that honestly don't need their expertise. The result here is a losing equation. Prospects slipping through the cracks, customers waiting too long, and your best people buried in work that's keeping them from stuff that actually matters. Customer Agent is built to change that. It's one unified AI agent working across the entire customer lifecycle, turning site visitors into qualified leads and keeping customers happy long after the sale. It's trained on your specific business context, so it's not giving generic AI answers. and you're always in control. You test it before going live, you choose which channels it's active on, and decide when it exactly hands off to a human. Let me show you what that looks like. Today, we're using Biglytics, a fictional data analytics company, as our example. So imagine that you're a prospect that's landed on this site here, and you're wanting to know what the Pro plan includes. I'll type that in now. What we're going to see here is that Customer Agent gives a detailed, specific answer because it's trained on Biglytics' actual content. Their website, their knowledge base, their docs, these aren't generic responses. These are grounded in how this business actually describes itself. Now let's ask a follow-up question here. Maybe something like, can I upgrade mid-month? It's going to handle follow-up naturally, like a real conversation. Every visitor gets the same quality answer, whether it's the first conversation of the day or the 500th, right? And no lead slipped through the cracks just because it was after hours. Now watch what happens when we ask something a little bit more complex. Customer Agent recognizes that there's a need for a human here. It's going to collect context like my email address and then route it to your team with the full conversation attached too. The customer doesn't have to repeat themselves, and your rep is going to pick up right where it left off. That's the difference. It handles what it can, it hands off what it can't, and your team stays focused on what actually needs their expertise. Now, let me show you how you build that and configure this for your own business. You're going to start over here by giving the...
I might pause it there if that's okay, since we're running a little short on time. We can send a knowledge base about how to set it up, but I think the impact on customer NPS by using something like this is huge. Like for example, if a customer were to email you like 2 a.m. on Sunday with a technical question and you have the agent set up, and the agent can solve that question by looking at maybe like your technical documentation, that customer gets their question answered instantly, and versus like having to wait till Monday, a human rep having to answer that question, and then you have a frustrated customer. So I think the impact on customer NPS is very significant. And I also think the customer agent is important to lean into now because that's the way that people want to like at least get their like first line of defense handled. Like people usually want to talk to an agent first before having to talk to a human. So I think it's also kind of adapting to a shift in how people want their questions at least initially answered. So I think that's important to note too. And yeah, I mean, the results are great so far, both in terms of like resolution power and also just like helping you scale your support team. So one stat I do want to mention, because it's really impressive, is that customers that are using the customer agent are seeing a 50% boost in ticket resolution. And we didn't make that up. It's actually based on customer data. I know it sounds like very impressive, but that's a real stat that we can flaunt. So. Any other thoughts, Brett?
No, it's amazing that when you have a number like 50%, you're right. It did sound a little fake, but that's awesome.
Awesome. Cool. Well, let's move on to the next feature. So I know we're a little short on time, so I might not have time to do the demo video for this one, but we can certainly send it out. So data enrichment. So we'll start with a little story first. So I know we've all had the experience of like opening up a record within HubSpot and just like having it be an empty ghost record. No industry, no company size, just like a first name and a personal email. And it's like, what am I gonna do with this? So yeah, and that's like, number one reason why like sales outreach feels generic and marketing segmentation fails, because you don't have good information on a contact or a company record. So data enrichment is HubSpot's native cure for this empty record syndrome, let's call it. So for a long time, you as HubSpot users know that like getting high quality data usually meant paying for an expensive third-party integration to gather that data for you, to update your records, or you'd have to force your prospects to fill out a super long, like 15-question form so you can have that data. But with data enrichment now, it's a native service built into HubSpot's smart CRM. And so a moment a lead enters your portal, HubSpot, this new tool, is going to match that domain against a massive verified database of business information. And it's going to automatically fill in 11 key properties, which will send you the knowledge base on what those are. But everything from company headquarters, employee count, annual revenue, et cetera. So yeah, it's going to do that automatically for you, which is great. And then what kind of differentiates like this spotlight update for data enrichment is that data enrichment is now available for all Starter Plus subscriptions. So you no longer, and then you also, you don't have to worry about spending credits anymore to enrich your contact and company records. So I'll repeat that. Data enrichment doesn't cost credits to enrich your contact and company records. So it runs in the background, continuously refreshing your data, so you're always working with the most accurate context. I think that's just super cool. Like, I think it really signals how important, obviously, like having like good enriched data is, but I love that HubSpot's making it so accessible. And I think that's a huge differentiator with our CRM, the fact that it doesn't cost credits anymore. So we want to make it easy and affordable for everyone to have fantastic data in their CRM. So this demo video is actually pretty long, so I will skip it, but I will send it as a follow-up so you can see it. But I can talk through a couple examples where data enrichment really shines. So the first example is like, let's think about like the short form revolution. So marketers on the call will be familiar with that. So thinking about your website form, we all know that every extra field you add to a form is going to reduce the chance of somebody actually filling it out. So as marketers, usually you're forced to make a choice, like, do I want more leads and I make a shorter form, or do I want better data and have a longer form? But the beautiful thing about data enrichment is that you don't have to choose anymore. You can move to a 2-field form, just name and email. And so you get that high conversion rate of a short form, and then HubSpot provides that long form data in the background by enriching that contact record. So you get a rich profile of data and your customer gets a frictionless experience and they don't have to fill out a million things. So I think that's a really cool use case for data enrichment. And then the second one is really precise segmentation. So let's say like your marketing team wants to run a high intent campaign targeting only healthcare companies with over 100 employees. In the past, you'd have to manually research thousands of leads to build that list, or you'd leverage an expensive third-party subscription to get that data. But now you have those 11 properties that are automatically populated, and you can build that list within like 30 seconds, and the data is accurate and it didn't consume credits. So I'm really excited about data enrichment because it really, like, clean data and like rich data is really the foundation of a healthy CRM, and it feeds directly into the other parts of your business. So you're going to have, better targeting, and also like massive time savings, since you're not wasting time trying to gather that information for yourself as well. And the last thing I'll say about this is that I think removing the cost per credit barrier is just so cool, because HubSpot's ensuring that a high quality database is no longer a luxury. It's the standard for every HubSpot customer. So I just think that's really awesome. Yeah.
And Alessandra, before we move on, Andrew's got a question about how accurate this is with returning like homeowner data based off of the name and email. So if a form was just collecting basic information, probably a phone number as well, would it be able to pull address, city, state, zip information?
I believe it can do that. This is for a home buyer, you said?
Well, it's for a direct-to-consumer business that is based off of home services.
Okay.
So home information is very important to their day-to-day sales activities.
Yeah. I'll have to confirm that. I'm a little fuzzier on the B2C use cases for the tools, but I'll follow up with the team on that one. Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, we'll add this one onto the follow-up, and just pointing out to everybody, this is live. So as long as you've got a starter or above hub, could be any of them, This is currently in your HubSpot portal, so you may actually have already noticed in like property history, HubSpot data enrichment filling in missing properties, which is really cool.
Yeah, awesome, cool. So now that we've talked about having the healthy foundation that data enrichment provides, we can talk about our last but not least spotlight feature, buyer intent, which is also very, very cool. Okay, so for buyer intent, so this is really going to help you know like which prospects are ready to buy before they tell you. So what buyer intent is going to do, and this is available for all products and plans as well. So it's going to take the silent signals from across the web and turn them into clear buy signals inside of your CRM. For you as customers, this means it's going to help you move away from the manual list building and moving toward a CRM system that tells you exactly like where the open windows are in your market. So to really master buyer intent, I want us to look at the two distinct engines that are working under the hood. I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. So if you have questions, please stop me. So under buyer intent, we have research intent and visitor intent. They serve two different strategic goals. Think of research intent as your hunter. This is going to help you build net new pipeline. Research intent looks outside of your website to see which companies are researching your product category or competitors on third-party sites. It finds companies that don't know you yet, so they're not in your CRM, but companies that are actively looking for a solution similar to what your company sells. You can pull these net new companies into your CRM by consuming credits and reach them effectively before your competition does. So research intent is the hunter. It's helping you build net new pipeline, pulling net new companies into the CRM. The second component of buyer intent is visitor intent. Think of visitor intent as your closer. So it's going to help it's going to help your sales reps understand who am I going to call today who is looking like they're ready to buy. It looks inside of your digital walls, your CRM. So it's going to look at the records already in your HubSpot. It identifies high-fit companies currently browsing your pricing page or reading your case studies. So visitor intent helps identify like your warm leads who are familiar with you and sending you signals that they're thinking about you. And this is going to tell your sales rep, like, who am I going to call today? Who's ready? So those are the two components of buyer intent. And then all in all, what this tool is going to do, it's going to aggregate all these signals and along with 16 types of company news as well, like executive hires or funding rounds. And it's going to give every account that you're tracking an intent score. You can think of an intent score like an automated early warning system that ensures your team is like focused around the accounts with the highest probability of closing. So just like identifying your target accounts. I do have, a couple demo videos I can show you. Brett, I want to get your feedback. Would you like me to show maybe one of the shorter videos? Do you want me to try to get through both? I know, I'm not sure if we want to, I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
Yeah, let's show one of them, and then we'll be sending the demo videos to everyone post-call. So if on the videos that we had to skip from this demo, you have any questions, please reach out to us and we can help answer those.
Perfect. I will show the shorter one is visitor intent. So let me pull that one up right now. Awesome. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Okay.
That is visitor intent. Visitor intent is our reverse IP solution, which means that it helps you understand which companies are visiting your website. And it's pretty neat because there are a couple things that you can do to really narrow in on both companies that are showing intent on your website, but that are also good firmographic fits for your business. And you do this by doing some configuration and setting up target markets, which are essentially you defining, what's a good fit company for you, and you do that here within configuration, and then also defining your visitor intent criteria. And this is really powerful because essentially this is you telling us which pages are high intent on your website, and then if any company visits any of those pages, then we will tag them as showing intent. And so if you look back here in the main tab, you can see this company has shown visitor intent and is in your target market, so it has fit and intent. You also have a good variety of filters that you can choose from, like when did they visit, what's their traffic source, what country did they visit from. If you have multiple websites, you can tell us which website you care about first. This is where you define your target markets. You can even upload segments, got segment capabilities. But I would say most powerful is when you combine these three filters here. So companies that are showing visitor intent, companies that are in your target market, and also companies that are not in your CRM. And this is where you can actually see companies that represent net new pipeline for you. So all of these companies here are good fits, showing intent, not in your CRM. So this is when we get to look at more details here in terms of what were their top page views in the time frame that we selected. What are their most recent page views? And this helps you understand, hey, what was their journey? What were they looking at? What were they most interested in? And once you've decided that this is a company that you want to pursue, then you have a core action here of actually adding this company to your CRM. And all it takes is one click. You can do it, one by one or via bulk. And you also have the option here to automate it. So once you go and click a saved view here, or create a save view, you have the option to use Visitor Intent's most powerful feature, and that is to set up an automation, specifically to automatically add a company whenever they enter one of your saved views. And your saved view is just essentially a collection of saved filters. So let's say, for example, again, showing intent in your target market, net new, and we'll do this work for you. Essentially what's going to happen once you turn on this automation is that we'll be creating new pipeline for you essentially while you sleep. And so that's it. This is, again, one of our most powerful features. And if you really want to pursue the companies that are showing the highest intent, help your sales team prioritize the accounts that are already ready to buy, then Visitor Intent is definitely a feature that you should check out.
Cool. Yeah, and I think that tool is amazing because like right now, like my partners and their clients are all saying that it's so difficult to generate net new leads now. So this tool can really help you like see behind the curtain and identify who's thinking about you and pull those contacts, those companies into your CRM. So it's super impactful for building net new pipeline. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Any other feedback? Yep.
Jay was basically just saying, I was hoping to hear some more direct-to-consumer B2C information. Do you want to point out that some of these features, like the Breeze Assistant for loop marketing, the AEO, and answer engine optimization, smart deal progression, customer agent, and data enrichment, all are tools that have real impact on the direct-to-consumer companies. Some of these, like I guess Fire Intent, Prospecting Agent, do need to come back with some answers on how impactful they can be in D2C, but certainly like the majority of tools here will have direct impact on D2C companies as well. I guess, Alessandra, anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, I think that's perfect. Yeah, and I know we covered a lot today, so I just wanted to thank everybody for their time. And yeah, I'm super excited that the new tools are really like pulling on like the context of your CRM to help you guys, to help you all execute like faster and better. So I hope this was helpful and that these 7 features kind of got you thinking of some additional use cases that you can leverage within your CRM. Yeah, and if you have any more questions, like please feel free. I'm sure Brett would be happy to give you my email, but we'll definitely be following up with resources and, of course, answers to the B2C questions that we received today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any last questions, thoughts, interest in incorporating any of these features into your HubSpot account we can help with? Okay, cool. So we'll be sending out a post-call email. We'll include the recording of the call as well as the demo information. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, or you can contact sales@integrateiq.com. Also want to mention this spring feature Spotlight, very similar to a lot of the courses and academy pieces that HubSpot hosts at their Unbound event, which is coming up is it September?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And just wanted to mention, we do have some discounted tickets. If anyone's interested, please reach out, sales@integrateiq.com. September 16th through 18th in Boston. Thank you, Tim. Otherwise, thank you all for joining and have a great day. Thank you so much, Alessandra.
Of course. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.